Good morning, evening and afternoon, and welcome to part 41 of Aokana, no彼方のフォーリズム. Last time was quite an enjoyable episode where we had our first official match in a tournament setting, and it was quite interesting because there was actually quite a lot that happened last time, so I had to really get around where to start. So the first match was Shion versus Inui, Silverhead Gold. I went into it not knowing, but the way I viewed it, they were building it up for his loss. That's how I viewed it. So I wasn't going into it knowing he was going to win. So it wasn't as big of a surprise for me because to me I kind of expected it. But there were a few things that I did not expect, and it was quite interesting. One was she's got a pair of gravity shoes that are unique and unheard of. That on top of we're not fully knowing her playstyle adds a lot of mystery to it, and I feel like that's going to add a lot to the later stages in this tournament. Because, in my opinion, I don't think she is actually a speeder. I think her potential and her ability is much greater than what's being shown. And I feel like that might put more of a dent onto Shion than what is being portrayed. Shion showed that he enjoyed it and it was an enjoyable match. But I know that's not true because he wanted to be alone after the match, which does show that he was quite upset about it. But I wonder how he will view it when they find out that she might not be a speeder. But of course we don't know that, if she is or she isn't. But I feel like it will add more to it if she wasn't. Next we had our little... we saw a little bit of interaction with the masked Skywalker. Another interesting character. I mentioned it last time, but I'm not sure what their role is in the story. We don't know them. We don't know anybody who knows them except for maybe Shirase. They're a complete mystery and they're quite average. And they're lost. Their first match. Or their match. I don't think there's a second chance. I had a thought that if they actually had won their first match, just barely, there might be a thing where they might be hiding their true potential. But since they lost, that's not the case. But they're quite peculiar, that character. I'm actually quite curious on where they are in the story, what's their role in the story later on. Anything else? I think that's roughly it. It was quite an action-packed episode, and I'm expecting this one to be as well. But it depends on how they're going to go about how much detail they're going to put into Mashiro's match. Because in the past she was the one who had the least show time in a sense. But yeah, next is Mashiro versus Tatooine. It feels like it's an obvious match. Tatooine's going to win by a mile. But who knows, maybe Mashiro will show some hidden potential somewhere. We don't know. Like how Asuka did against Tatooine in their first match. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this is going to go. Relax, I'm just trying to get you to calm down.
落ち着いてますよ。落ち着いて考えてみたらやっぱり不可能だって言ってるんです。なんですかポンポンポンポンポンポンポンポン。
Again, I mentioned this last time, slap isn't the right word. Like slap on the head. Because to me that's a bit... Slap to me is a negative word. I view that as a negative word. Whereas the word they use here, I think, is like bon, which is like little taps on the head in a sense. To me, that's not as negative, because to me that is more of... It's hard for me to explain, but I just don't see that slight tapping on their head to get them out of their head in a sense. I didn't slap you like that. Stop exaggerating. Look, going into the match expecting to lose is rude to your opponent. You should at least try to win, even if she's obviously better than you. She may not look it, but SunaeVN is a very nice, diligent person. You agree, yeah? Her playstyle is the same. She might go easy on you. Just let me finish. Listen. SunaeVN is an all-rounder. An all-rounder is focused on exploiting their opponent's weakness. When they face a fighter, they subdue them with speed, and when they're up against a speeder, they take them on in a dogfight. In other words, most all-rounders play around their opponent's game plan. Hanzen is more like a crime or like a... Come on, how? Anyway, in my mind there are two kinds of ultra serious people. One directs that sentiment towards themselves, while the other directs it towards others. The former is usually very belief driven, while the latter is usually concerned about how something might impact others. Which do you think SunaeVN is? Right, so basically, SunaeVN adapts both her personality and playstyle to her opponent, which we can use to our advantage. Yeah, she's saying about how your face is looking a bit dark, like in terms of evil, in a sense. Your face is looking quite evil, right? Which means he's thinking of a cheap tactic, but yeah. Whatever it takes to win. Jump past the first line right away. Ah, not what you'd expect from a speeder. I know, but if you fight her using normal speeder tactics, she'll take you down right away. You realize how much better she is, right? That's why you're going to play like a fighter. Yep, there are some players who do that, okay? Just trust me. There aren't many, but some people do focus on dogfights despite wearing speeder shoes. And those players utilize speed from the shoes to focus on hit and run tactics. Okay, I never thought of that. I kinda did, with like tag and all sorts of things like that. You used to be a fighter. You need to pull out all the stops if you want to stand a chance against her. It's almost just like you're an all-rounder in a sense. So put her in an all-rounder. After you jump ahead, position yourself above SunaeVN to start putting pressure on her. Yeah, she's saying rather than in front, you mean above? She'll have a hard time seeing you when you're above her. It's difficult to keep up inverted flight, which pretty much rules that option out for her. Masaya glances to the side. When I follow her gaze, I see SunaeVN talking to Shindo-san. Is Shindo going to be the second? If so, that's going to be pretty difficult. Good point. Shindo-san is definitely going to accurately relay Masaya's position to her, which hurts this plan. It'll still work. People get uneasy when they can't see things they know are right in front of them, right?
そうかもしれませんが、それでプレッシャーをかけ続けたらどうなりますか？
She'll start acting cautious, which should slow her down. Plus, like I said, Satoru-san is a considerate person. The decision to engage or not is on her shoulders.
佐藤院さんがドッグファイトを挑んでくる？
Exactly. And now we get to the most important part. Once she rushes you, make her run for it and force her into a battle of speed. Make her second guess herself.
つまり佐藤院さんの裏をかくと。
Bingo. Mashiro stands no chance in a straightforward match. Luckily, Satoru-san watched Mashiro during the training camp, which means she's under the impression that she's a fighter. And that may have just saved us.
できますかね？
If you stay high enough, you can use gravity to accelerate quickly and beat her. Satoru-san, on the other hand, will probably be pretty mad that she got tricked and lose her composure.
佐藤院さんが最初から V を狙ったら？
Then it'll become a pure speed battle, which puts you at an advantage despite your gap in skill.
いいことだらけに聞こえますね。
Honestly, I doubt it's gonna go that well. Mashiro doesn't have much experience as speeder yet, so she probably can't win even if she has an advantage.
私を騙してます？
What would I get out of tricking you? Make sure to sound confident to keep her spirits high.
気づいたら羽毛布団を買ったりしてませんかね？気づいたら羽毛布団を買ったりしてませんかね？
I'd have to be a professional con man to somehow sell you something through all of this.
わかりました。言う通りにやってみます。
I feel like there was a different way of translating that, but I'm not gonna bother right now. Good. You gotta believe that she can win. And if you do pull it off, Misaki will be real happy.
そうですね。頑張ります。
So for some reason there she sounded different.
そうですね。頑張ります。
It almost sounds like it's just different voice actress there. Mashiro clenches her fist in front of her chest, nods, and flies off toward first. Now, I just have to hope Satoru-san falls for our trap.
よろしくお願いしますわね。こちらこそ私頑張りますから。私だって頑張りますわ。いい試合をしましょう。はい。
Mashiro's voice sounds a bit shaky. Makes sense, since this is her first tournament and all. Guess she started feeling nervous as soon as she got to her starting position. Don't forget, you need to jump to the second line right away.
分かってます。大丈夫です。
試合を開始していいですか？
はい。よろしくてよ。
セット。
Okay, not a whistle, but he blows the horn, signaling the start of their match. Satoru starts by staring at Mashiro. She wants to see whether Mashiro is going to jump to the next line or go for the buoy. This is the perfect chance to fake going for the buoy, but Mashiro is not ready to convincingly pull that off yet. Having confirmed that Mashiro is jumping to the second line, Satoru flies down the first line, aiming for second. Right, now get in position not too far from the buoy. Oh, but make sure you aren't too close either.
わかりました。
We need to get the ball rolling as soon as possible, but getting close to the buoy means getting closer to Satoru-san. If she does that, there's always the risk of Satoru-san touching the buoy and flying straight past Mashiro.
高さはこのくらいでいいですか？
Mashiro is around 5 meters above the line. Yes, yeah, that's fine. Remember, if Satoru-san tries to go straight down the line, it'll be a race to third.
はい。
If that happens, try to stay as high as possible.
どうしてですか？
You're trying to force her into a position that gives you the advantage. So it'll be bad if she caught you before you pull that off. Plus, it'll probably piss her off.
なんだかハンティングしてるみたいですね。
In a way, you kind of are. SunaeVN touches second. Score is 0-1 now. SunaeVN slows down and looks up at Mashiro.
マサヤ先輩、佐藤院さんにものすごく見つめられてますけど。
Is Mashiro's position a dead giveaway? But that's the only way I can see her winning this. After waiting for a while, she approaches Mashiro instead of going for third.
なるほどなるほど。マサヤ先輩。
That's not much of an issue. The important question here is how she's going to react.
あ、私の方が前にいるんだから、今から V を狙いに行くというのはどうでしょうか。
No, that's against the rules. Wait, what?
そうでした。
Sorry, I might have misinterpreted the rules. I'm trying to think now because how would a fighter go for the buoy then? If they miss the first buoy to go to the second line, then they go wait for their opponents. I can understand why you can't go straight for the third straight away, because obviously what's the point of the first buoy then? But not being able to go for the second one, do you have to wait for your opponent first before you can? I'm not quite sure I follow that. Okay. Oh, they were explained, yeah. A player who jumps lines can't go for the next buoy until they either make physical contact with their opponents or cross their path.
狙いは悪くないと思いますわ。V を失う危険を冒してでも、私の上のポジションをキープして、私をイライラさせる作戦ですわね。いえ、そういうことですわね。決してそういうわけでは。付き合ってあげてもよろしくてよ。
Contrary to my expectations, SunaeVN is the one pressuring Mashiro. She gradually climbs, making her way towards Mashiro. At this rate, she'll reach her altitude and our plan will go out the window. Damn it. If SunaeVN keeps us up, Mashiro will break down before she even gets to make a move. Before it comes to that, Mashiro, do it now. Engage SunaeVN in a dog fight while she's still below you.
わかりました。
Huh? A cocky smirk rises to SunaeVN's face.
こうも簡単に挑発に乗ってもらっては困りますわ。乗ったのは日向雅也かしら。
So SunaeVN tilts forward energetically, then proceeds to swoop down. Mashiro and SunaeVN pass right by each other.
お先に失礼しますわ。
Mashiro is now flying towards second, while SunaeVN is heading toward third. God damn it. I never expected her to do that.
これは一体何ですか?
SunaeVN played us. There's no point chasing after her now. Jump to the third line. Mashiro listens to me and starts flying toward the third line.
質問です。
Yeah?
佐藤院さんはドッグファイトをする気はなくて、私が佐藤院さんに挑みかかる方向をサード V の逆方向に固定してから挑発してきたということですか?
That's right. Sorry, it seems like she outsmarted me.
ああ、なるほど。はい、わかりました。
Huh? Oh, what are you talking about?
早く飛んだり、バチバチ背中を狙い合うだけじゃなくて、こういう空気の読み合いと言えばいいんでしょうか。 そういうのも FC なんですね。
Rather than reading your opponent, they use the word kuki, which is more like air or atmosphere. So rather than reading your opponent, you're reading the mood, like the atmosphere itself. You're reading your opponent is more like you're focusing on the one thing, whereas reading the mood or kuki, you're reading the whole play itself. Your position, the enemy's position, where you are, and things like that, not just your opponent. Exactly.
なるほどなるほど。ということはですよ、次は私が佐藤院さんを騙せばいいわけですよね。
Do you have a plan?
あるような、ないような。
You sound pretty uncertain. Anyway, just take the same position again. She may have beaten us just now, but the strategy was still sound.
わかりました。
Saruin-san calmly, slowly touches third and approaches Mashiro. And that's 0 to 2. Mashiro is waiting above the center of the third line. Like last time, Saruin-san proceeds to slowly inch closer to Mashiro. Is she doing that to preserve her stamina? Or wait, is she trying to run down the clock, maybe? We only have the first round today, so there's no need to preserve stamina. But then again, there's nothing wrong with using this chance to help form the habit. Sorry. Stalling may seem dirty, but Mashiro's strategy involves waiting, so we have no right to complain.
また同じ作戦ですの？どうでしょうか？
Retreat diagonally upwards at the same pace she's using to close in on you.
はい。
We don't want her to close the gap. If Mashiro keeps retreating, Saruin-san might just give up and go for the buoy eventually. And if she does, we can turn this into a battle of speed. This is all a little risky, but at the end of the day, Saruin-san is taking the bait. Sorry. Things are looking up. Okay, I didn't expect little chibi characters of them. Huh? This is weird. Mashiro's turning to the side as if she's getting pulled by something. Really? Is that your trick? That is... Satomi's-san is too... what's that word? Let's just say, I think only SunaeVN would fall for this. And that makes SunaeVN-san look in that direction as well.
あれ？あの赤いの隕石じゃありませんか？
Mashiro uses that chance to tilt downward, closing the distance between her and SunaeVN-san in an instant. Mashiro extends her arm and touches SunaeVN-san's back as she flies about by her. SunaeVN-san loses her balance completely as she essentially rolls forward. The score's now 1 to 2. Wow, that was real dirty. How do they use that in Japanese? I can't read those. It's not against the rules or anything, but I'd say that was a breach of player etiquette, at least.
戻って追撃を。
Not gonna work. You make contact, so it's fine for you to go for the buoy. Use your boost from that to speed over to it.
はい。
Now it's reverse it, go for speed. You got the advantage, you got the distance. If you're a speeder, technically she should not be able to catch you, but she will be able to race to the next line. Mashiro proceeds to rush toward the buoy. SunaeVN-san totally lost her composure, so it should take her some time to recover. Mashiro has successfully touched fourth. That's 2 to 2. Amazing, I can't believe she actually managed to even the score.
もしかして私勝てますか？勝つ可能性が出てきましたか？
Getting too ahead of herself, losing focus. Maybe you do.
で、これから先は いいでしょうか。
Huh? Come on, you need to help her. Look over and finally notice that SunaeVN's son is floating on the first line. Oh, she went ahead and is waiting now. I never planned for this scenario.
佐藤院さんがすごく怒っているように見えるんですけど。
She sure does, and honestly, she has every right to be. Her hair's standing on end and she looks like a bloodthirsty demon.
自業自得とか言わないで作戦を考えてください。
Don't worry, an angry opponent will have a hard time making rational decisions. Just watch her closely and figure out how to slip past her.
わかりました。私、マナー違反をする人、好きではありませんわ。私も同感です。そう思うなら今すぐ棄権しなさい。いや、それはちょっと。それが嫌なら卑怯な真似を恥じて切腹すればいいのですわ。
I'm interested in how they use the word seppuku. I know seppuku, but out of all the words that they translated before and didn't use the original word which could be used, here they're using seppuku, which can be translated to English. Obviously it's got a special meaning compared to the English version, but obviously I can't say the English version, it's against terms of contract, terms of service, but yeah. I think, anyway. I just find it interesting how they use this word to not translate correctly. Interesting.
いや、私お侍さんじゃないんで。別にお侍さんじゃなくても切腹していいのですわ。いや、します。切腹します。
Don't just give in.
そんなこと言われてもすごいんですから。
Whatever, just hurry up and force her into a race.
そんなこと言われても。私から言って差し上げますわ。
SunaeVN's son rushes straight toward Mashiro.
ちょっと。
Yeah, that's not gonna end well. In a way, dogfights are also battle spirits, so there's no way she can put up a fight when she's that rattled. Pretty sure my words won't reach her anymore, but I'll still have to try and help her. Calm down, Mashiro. Take a deep breath. If you lose your cool now, you're just handing the reins over to SunaeVN's son. Yeah, she's gonna lose, yeah. In the end, SunaeVN's son got 5 points in quick succession, ending the match with a 2-7 score. Mashiro got destroyed. So, both sides are to blame for this, in my opinion. Mashiro for losing her control, but also Masaya for not able to bring her back into control. And in a sense, I actually feel like it was more on Masaya's side as well, because he not only did not bring it back into control, but he also was not able to think of another strategy, or did not have multiple strategies just in case. I view this as like, when I think of strategies in terms of sports, I view it as like baseball or motorsports, like Formula 1 for example. With baseball, like a coach would have certain strategies, like if you have a person on first base and second base, you have to do this or that. But if you only have one on first base and third base, you'll be doing this or that. It's not just this. It's not just a straightforward plan. You always have to have multiple plans in case something goes wrong. It's the same thing with motorsports with Formula 1. I enjoy that sport, that's why I mention it. For those that know, in Formula 1 you have different tires in motorsport. And depending on how the race goes, your strategy changes how badly the tires are damaged or how you're doing in the race itself. And there's various things that can go on. So when you listen on the radio, sometimes you hear we'll go into strategy A, B, C, D, and it even goes up to G sometimes. So when I see with this where Masaya only had one strategy for Mashiro, again, I know he's new at coaching and things like that, but it feels like he's not putting out as much effort in as I thought he could, in a sense. But again, I don't know his position and whole situation sense. In a sense, I'm being quite harsh on it, I understand, but that's how I view it, in a sense. But anyway.
ひどい目に遭いました。トラウマ。
Sorry. But yeah, she said trauma. You definitely shouldn't have done that, but the idea itself wasn't bad.
そうですか?
I didn't take into account that this was also mainly her strategy as well. But then again, he should have read that the possibility of SunaeVN jumping the line and waiting for Mashiro, which is obvious for when you have a speeder going up against an all-rounder or fighter. You should expect that person to jump the line to wait for the speeder. So I'm really surprised you didn't think of that. Misleading your opponent with your gaze is the foundation of feints.
じゃあ、私は間違ったことしてないってことですか?
Like I said, you shouldn't have done that. There's nothing wrong with looking to the side, but bringing up a meteorite to go made you look isn't cool. She was probably worried about getting seriously injured there.
それはそうかもしれません。かもしれませんではなくて、不謹慎なのです。さっきはすみませんでした。
Mashiro bends backward at surprisingly high speed, then bows her head at the same pace.
終わったことはもういいですわ。私こそ大人げなかったと反省していますの。私こそ反省してます。あの状況で横を向くフェイントを仕掛けた勇気には敬意を表します。有坂真白、あなた見どころがありますわよ。それでは失礼させていただきます。
SunaeVN does a graceful twirl and takes her leave. Yeah, that you have promise.
そんなことを言うとは佐藤井さんも見どころありますね。
Midokoro, I think, was the word used. Midokoro. Promise, I wouldn't really say is the right word for that. Midokoro. I can't remember the word that would probably be used more. Maybe that's alright, I guess. You should actually reflect on your actions, Mashiro. Great, we're sitting at 2 losses in the first round already. I really want to put a stop to the string of losses, but Misaki doesn't seem the least bit motivated. Let's crush your opponent. No mistakes allowed, since they'll help prepare you for your match with Shindo tomorrow. Plus, you could probably use the extra bit of confidence too. What's with that lazy reply?
はっきり言って試合をしたくないです。
Huh? Look, I know your mood fluctuates like the value of a stock, but can you please not give me that on the very first match? I can't read some of this, but I don't think they're obviously talking about the stock here, but obviously I can understand what they're trying to say here.
気分屋って気分を売り物にしたことなんかない。マサヤは私の気分をいくらで買ってくれるわけ
？100 yen for you to get motivated.
安いなぁ。でも気分が変わるたびに100円もらえば時給2000円くらいいくかな。
You plan on changing your mood 20 times an hour? Anyway, forget that. Why don't you want to compete now?
対戦相手
Is it Rika? What about Ichinose?
うん
Misaki directed gaze over to a spot a few meters away from us. SunaeVN-san and Ichinose are talking over there. You don't want to face someone you know? Guess that's fair. A lot of people don't like facing their friends since it might make things awkward after the fact. I don't think that's the case. Sure, sometimes friendship and friendly rivalries form during a match, but just as often, or no more often, things get awkward instead. The reason is simple: it's frustrating to lose. Because most people don't want to admit defeat, they end up blaming their opponents. You're in a competitive sport. Suck it up. I'm just curious how to say that in Japanese. A lot longer. Okay. Flying Circus doesn't have a large player base yet, so you tend to face the same people over and over. That means she has to get used to this sooner rather than later.
それもちょっとあるけど、なんか言いづらいな。言いづらいっていうのは言いたくないってことじゃなくて、
I feel like it's gonna be a stupid reason. I don't know why.
言葉にしづらい。マサヤは一ノ瀬ちゃんのことどう思う？体が好みとかそういうことじゃなくてだよ。
Obviously. I'd have to have a few screws loose to interpret a question like that.
脱いだら意外と大きいんじゃないかとか、そういう妄想の話じゃないよ。
Come on, I'm no idiot. Have a little faith here. I've never even mentioned having a dream like that. I'd say she has a steady or rather meticulous playstyle. It's rather obvious that she has a pretty by-the-book playstyle.
だよね。
What about it?
ちゃんとっていうのが見えすぎるから、その進藤さんや佐藤院さんとは合宿の時に話したけど、別に試合をするのは嫌じゃないんだよね。
What? You're saying Ishinose is different somehow?
うん。進藤さんはその私より強くて、その怖い。
Scary, huh?
進藤さんほどじゃないけど、佐藤院さんも怖い。性格がって意味じゃないし、体がってことじゃないよ。
We know. Why do you keep assuming that's what I think? Look, I know exactly what you mean by scary. I used to be a player myself, so I'm painfully aware of what it's like to fear an opponent. It's only natural to get nervous before facing someone good. Same goes for when you face an opponent that's hard to read. And sometimes even ordinary players with conventional playstyles can make you sweat because of their mastery of their skills. Feeling scared of your opponents is a perfectly natural emotion.
その怖さがあるから、私も全力でやろうと思えるってとこがあると思う。怖い相手と試合するのは楽しいし。
In other words, you don't want to face Ishinose because she doesn't scare you?
そう言うと私がすごく傲慢な人みたいだけど、そういうこと。練習がすごく丁寧だから、試合で何をしてくるのか全部見えちゃう気がする。
I get where she's coming from, but you know, underestimating opponents a surefire way to lose. A wry smile forms on Misaki's face as she looks down at her toes.
そういう意味じゃないんだってば。それに一ノ瀬ちゃんは真面目だから、負けたくないって気持ちを込めてくると思うんだよね。
Right, she even said as much this morning.
うん。そういうとこが、そのなんていうか、って感じ。
Why? Not wanting to lose is nothing special. I mean, come on. What player in their right mind would actually want to lose a match?
それは分かってるんだけど、一ノ瀬ちゃんはまっすぐに込めてくると思うから、それにたじろぐというか。
I can kind of understand this sentiment. It's more like it becomes a problem when you know your opponent a bit too much. I use an example from an older piece of media, Hajime no Ippo, a boxing manga anime, where the boxer, the main character, boxer, starts to think about his opponent and his opponent's lifestyle and what it means if that person were to lose their match and things like that, and it starts to throw him off his game in a sense. I can understand that aspect where you're thinking about your opponent and how they are if they were to lose, or how they are as a person. Maybe I'm misreading it, but that's what I get. How does it throw you off exactly?
それを前面に出すくらいならプレイに集中すればいいのにと思っちゃって戸惑っちゃうんだよね。
Now it all makes sense. I think I finally get what you're trying to say. Ichinose is sure that victory awaits her as long as she does everything by the book. And it seems that way of thinking pisses Misaki off. If you want to win, then do everything in your power to win. That's Misaki's point. Simply believing isn't good enough, and yet Ichinose keeps mentioning it. Don't get me wrong, having faith in yourself is important. If you're not confident in your own skills, the accuracy of your moves will suffer. If you don't trust yourself to perform the moves you've practiced, you'll miss the right timing to use them. If you don't believe you can win from the bottom of your heart, you never will. However, Ichinose's state of mind is a little different. It seems almost like she's believing in the fact that she believes in herself, if that makes any sense. And that's effectively the same as not truly believing in anything. Forget Ichinose's issues. You just need to focus on winning.
まあそうだよね。
Misaki forms a forced smile after saying that.
で、コーチ、どうやりましょうか？
She asks me that in a teasing tone. You've practiced with Prez, so you should be used to fighting speeders. Plus, Ichinose is a lot slower than Prez, so her speed should pose no problem.
うん。
Still, she's going to use a lot more feints than Prez, which will make you doubt what to do when she closes in. When that happens, don't make the first move.
一ノ瀬ちゃんが動いてから？
Yep, basically whenever she tries to force you to make a decision, throw that right back at her.
なるほどね。一ノ瀬ちゃんのフェイントは正直だからってこと？
I was just trying to think of a way to translate the word they use, but I think rather than easy to read, it's more like straightforward. Obviously, it's kind of the same thing, but I'm just trying to think of a more literal thing. Bingo. You can pull that off, right?
なんか気が重いな。
I think we'll end it shut down. Gonna go into the next match soon. And I think leaving a bit of the what's the word I'm looking for? The pre-match discussion, I guess you could say. We'll leave that, the rest of it, till the start of next time. Then we'll lead into the next match like we did with Mashiro's. In terms of Mashiro's match, it went good, but of course I just like to complain and point things out whenever I see them. It's just how I view it. Obviously it's a story and how things are written, but I view it as if it were real, as if I was there in person, and I would be quite annoyed in the way Masaya is taking his coaching ability. I've noticed it a lot. Obviously, as mentioned before, he's not a coach. I can understand that. Or not, he is, but I mean, it's like he's... how can I word this without sounding bad? He's not good at it, is all I can say. Obviously, he's probably more better as a player than a coach. Just makes me think about other things, but yeah. So anyway, about the match itself, it was alright. It was it had its moments, it had its good, interesting moments, but I feel like they did it again, kind of again with Mashiro. It was kind of similar with Shion's, but it was roughly the same, where they had a good start to the match, but then it just went and skipped a lot of other things that could have been interesting. Like when SunaeVN was waiting for Mashiro on the line, and then they skipped it from 2 to 2 to 2 to 7 when they skipped that part. I feel like you could have at least shown a little bit more in terms of their fights. Like, what did Masaya do in terms of trying to recover that fight? What did Mashiro do? Did she just run around doing nothing? Obviously we know she did something, but it doesn't help with the imagination. It's the same with Shion's match with Inui. He was like 0 to 20. Sure, he probably tried to do things to try and stop it, but what exactly? Oh no, I can't say that about Shion's, because Shion's was straightforward. He was just wanted speed. He wanted to go beat her Inui just by straightforward speed. So yeah, never mind. But yeah, so next match is Misaki versus Rika. Again, they're making it sound like Misaki should win this, but I'm worried that... No, not worried actually. I think Misaki will still win, but I think it won't be as easy as Misaki puts it, or thinks it will be. It could also be a surprise defeat, though, where Misaki underestimates her too much and then starts losing control of the match, and then just loses. That's going to hurt her a lot. The reason why I think that is mainly because of the next match. Obviously we'd want a rematch between Misaki and Shindo, but I don't feel like this is the right moment for that type of matchup. I feel like if we want to see a good revenge matchup between these two, it'd be better on like the finals, or at least the semi-finals. And the reason why I say that as well is because it would be interesting to see a matchup between Rika and Shindo. Obviously Shindo is the better player for what we know, but it would still be an interesting matchup to see. And also, another thing I thought of was, we could have most of the Flying Circus Club members lose, except for one of their weaker members, Asuka. Asuka could be the underdog who surprises everyone and starts winning a lot of matches, and then only loses to one of the big three, Inui, Kaneko, or Shindo. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that goes and ends up. Very interesting. Yeah, that will be it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please know what your thoughts, and I'll see you all next time.